London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine has released research which says that nearly 600 heat-related deaths are expected in the UK. Malcolm Mystery, who is involved in the research, says that the aged, pregnant people, women, and those with pre-existing health conditions need to take precautions.
BBC news presenter Martine Croxall has recently become news herself because she, according to the BBC, broke corporation rules. There's a report in the news regarding it. It said this, Martine Croxall breached the corporation's impartiality rules after visibly reacting on air while changing the phrase pregnant people to women. Now, she was in trouble for doing that. She got in trouble. See, the incident occurred during a live broadcast, and it was a broadcast that was watched by millions of people, because millions of people still watch BBC. And out of millions of people that watched BBC at the time, they got complaints. Now, out of all those people that watched the BBC, maybe thousands of people or millions of people, they got complaints. So the BBC acted swiftly on those complaints. How many complaints do you think they got out of those thousands of people that watched that news item? Or millions of people that watched that news item? How many complaints do you think they got? Well, they got 20 complaints. So 20 complaints out of thousands of people who watched the news item. BBC acted swiftly because, of course, you know, they want to make sure they jump on things, don't they? They want to make sure they're showing that they're righteous, that they want to do what's right, so they jumped on straight away because she used the word woman, didn't they? Now, it says that Executive Complaints Unit determined that Miss Croxall's facial expressions accompanying the alteration to the script gave the impression that she was expressing a personal view on the matter, on controversies surrounding trans identity. That's what the report said. So, facial expressions now are called into question. She used one word and she was in trouble, in hot water, as I say. But she said this, according to the report. I'll just read the report. It says, Miss Croxall stated she was reacting to a script that included, this is a quote from her, clumsy incorporated phrases such as the aged and pregnant people. That's what she said. It's quoting her in the news article. The ECU, this is an Executive Complaints Unit of the BBC, or wherever they're from, I don't know. But anyway, these people, ECU, concluded that given the strong impression of a personal view on a controversial matter, even inadvertently falls short of the BBC's impartiality expectations for its presenters. So BBC, they came down hard on Martine for saying woman, basically. They came in really hard on her. They clamped down on her because she said woman, and people, I think 20 people out of thousands found it offensive. So they upheld the complaint, and it says that the findings were reported to the management of BBC News and discussed with Miss Croxall and the editorial team concerned. So in other words, Martine got in trouble for saying woman on air. She said woman and she got in trouble. She changed pregnant people to women and she got in trouble for that. Now, in the same few days that this has come out, the BBC themselves were pulled up, weren't they? They've been exposed that they had a video of Donald Trump, US President Donald Trump, and they presented a completely false impression, changing what he said and edited it so it would sound like he was saying something that he didn't actually say, conveying a completely different message to what he was said in his actual speech. So they changed his speech. It's all come out. It's all available for you to check online if you want to look into it. But they changed his speech to make him sound like he was saying something he wasn't saying. Here is leader of the opposition, Kemi Badenoch, commenting on what they did to Donald Trump and how she feels, or what she feels that should be done about the BBC's deception in regards to Donald Trump's speech. Listen to Kemi Badenoch, leader of the opposition. Have a listen.
Absolutely shocking. That is fake news. You know, actually putting different things together to try and make something look different from what it actually was. And I do think heads should roll. Whoever it was who did that should be sacked. That's what Tim Davie should be doing, identifying who put out misinformation and sacking them. The public need to be able to trust our public broadcaster. Everyone who's watching the BBC, everyone with a TV is paying a license. We are paying them money. They should not be telling us things that are not true. And, they have all these outfits, BBC Verify, verifying other people's claims. What are they doing about their own claims? This is a corporation that needs to hold itself to the highest standards. And that means that when we see people doing the wrong thing, they should be punished. They should be sacked.
And what do you think about what Kemi Badenoch said? Should people be sacked for deceiving the public with regards to Donald Trump's speech? Remember, the BBC bosses, as it were, came down hard on Martine just for making an innocent comment using the word woman. They came down hard on her, didn't they? But now it's been shown that they're actually hypocrites because they did something far worse than what Martine did. Far worse. They're supposed to be a news channel, giving the news to the public, to the people of the UK and beyond. But they deliberately doctored the speech of a sitting US president. Really, I mean, in my opinion, Donald Trump himself, President Donald Trump, deserves a written apology from the BBC. He deserves a verbal apology from the head of the BBC, in my opinion, and a written apology from the BBC too. He could actually sue them if he wanted to. He could sue them for defamation, couldn't he? Libelous slander, really, because they doctored the clip of him giving his speech in America at the time when he gave that speech, giving a completely wrong impression of what he was saying deliberately. But they've got to come down hard on a woman that simply uses the word woman, and she's a woman herself. What can I say about something like this? What can any of us say? Do you agree with Kemi Badenoch and what she said about BBC? Should heads roll? Should people be sacked? Or should it be just let off? And what about the licence fees? She did make the good point that they're taking money, aren't they, from the public, forced to pay a subscription to a business, really, that's not benefiting the public in any way, really, in terms of the fake news that they're putting out. Now, imagine, for example, just as an example, or to illustrate the point, imagine Netflix. What if the government introduced a new law and it said from 1st of December 2025, everybody has to pay for Netflix, whether you've got it or not. So whether you watch it or not, you have to pay for Netflix, and it's the law from the 1st of December 2025. Imagine if that came out as a law in Parliament and it was put forward. How would the public react? How would anybody react? What would you say? Would you say, listen, it's okay, let's pay for something we don't use, or maybe you think, but wait a minute, I don't have that. I don't watch Netflix as an example. I'm just using it as an example. Would you be happy if you had to pay for it, even if you didn't watch it or you wasn't interested in it? Of course, Netflix do have millions of people around the world who subscribe to their platform, their streaming service, because people are happy with the service they provide, and so people are happy to pay Netflix to watch the different various programs on Netflix because they're happy with it, aren't they? But imagine, as I say, it's only an example, but just if you had to, by law, subscribe to Netflix, and even if you didn't actually subscribe, you had to pay for it. It would be obviously ridiculous, wouldn't it? But that's really what's happened in BBC, isn't it? It's a business, and a business that's really, in many ways, left-leaning, and you, the public, are being forced to pay the TV licence to be lied to. Really, that's the long and short of it, isn't it? Really. But how do you feel? Do you feel it's I'm wrong? Do you think we should pay? Do you think it's good to pay licence fee? Do you think the BBC should take our money as the public? How do you feel about that, in light of what we just discussed? Give me your thoughts in the comment section, and thank you for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one.